So we've been exploring Perplexity, and our prime objective so far has been to identify stocks for trading, which are fundamentally good. And in that context, I'm recording this video on October 25th, that is closing of market on 24th October, and trying to identify that if we had to take trades in the coming weeks, then which are the good options. And in that context, I explored Perplexity. I'll talk through it a little bit. It'll give you a sense of how you can leverage Perplexity to filter through both the technical data as well as the fundamental aspect of it, and then see on how to take calculated bets. We've talked about this earlier, but this is more comprehensive in terms of what's going on this particular day and time. And it's a free flowing thing which I will try and capture over here and how it has progressed. So the first and foremost that I started with was a very simple process, that is, tell me stocks which closed on high for 2 weeks with good volume and peg less than one. So what we're trying to do is, stocks which have shown good price action, good volume, and at the same time they are fundamentally very good because the peg is less than one. So they've shown good quarterly results. The P is fair valuation, and market cap is greater than 1000 CR. And it gave me these stocks, which were like IDFC First Bank, RBL Bank, DCB, Bank of Maharashtra Bank. So some of these we looked at, and now some of them have one or the other issue. Like over here, like if you look at uh, Bank of Maharashtra, it is good, looking good, but we don't know the peg over here. And then the one which stood out for all the criteria was peg with less than one, Wellspun Corporation and Aadhar Housing Finance. Now, with that, now what I tried doing was just bring it down into a table and figure out which ones it brought into the list and with good volume indicators. So IDFC First Bank came, then Wellspun came, and Aadhar Housing Finance came. Now, if you want to take calculated bets to a certain extent, I still feel from this list, I felt Wellspun might be a good one. So I think you can always go to Screener as a support system to understand what's going on in Wellspun. So you can go over here. Wellspun Corporation Limited is the one that we talked about. 834. Now over here it shows that the volumes are really low. So that is why it's not something which you will pick it up at this point in time, despite it giving a good P, the growth is reasonably there. The price action at a weekly level being positive, but the volumes when we look at it being good on days when it was positive. See over here we can see, then we can see over here as the pricing, but overall the volumes are really dry if we look at what was happening earlier. So if you want to take a calculated bet, then yes, definitely it is one of the stocks which comes close to it, and the 50-day DMA is already above the 200-day DMA. Although it is slightly dipping, but still a good time to pick it up with a calculated bet. Aadhar Housing, for some reason, I don't have a very positive flair about that company, but it's an individual's choice. Another company that I am tracking personally, because what I try and do is take bets on companies which I understand a little bit. So another one that is on my list these days is the Bank of Maharashtra, both from a investment perspective as well as from a perspective of trading, because if I look at the volumes over here, they're coming up good. The stock is moving up, and the P ratio is pretty decent at 7.44. And then there is also the talk from the system that the government itself is going to dissolve some stakes in the upcoming quarters. That would be helpful. And usually, if the companies dissolve, the government is dissolving stakes, usually the stock goes up. Don't take it on the face value, but now it also says that the company has delivered good profit growth of 69.7%, maintaining a healthy dividend payout of 26.2. So I really like companies which have good dividend payout, both from a long-term perspective and short-term perspective. Although it is trading at a fairly, I don't know, all-time high. Its all-time high is probably 65, but at this level also it looks good because it's definitely can be a stock which is for a breakout. The P that is trading at 7.44 for a company which is showing profit growth of 69.7. The peg ratios come out pretty good for that. So that's why it's one stock that you can bet on. Uh, and that is what I asked it to include in this thing. So its peg is 0.8, and this is how it has moved over the week, which is fairly okay because it has moved in between 58 and 60. It has tested 60. If it breaks out of 60, then it would be like definitely doing very well because that's a resistance in a way. So that's Bank of Maharashtra. Now, these are the companies which came out based on this list, but I was not very super satisfied. One is that I already have positions in Bank of Maharashtra, and I'm not so keen on the textile and housing and IDFC First Bank is in news for various reasons, negative and positive. I didn't query it against that, but you can definitely query and see if you understand why it is in news. There's negative sentiments around it. So while these stocks are good to play some bets, like stocks like IDFC First Bank, Yes Bank, and Vodafone, but then they play on the news. So and housing, Aadhaar Housing Finance, somehow I'm not positive about it. I don't want to get into the specific reasons. And these are not recommendations. I'm just trying to say how I trade and how I use Perplexity and Screener. And that's the value that I'm trying to give to you. And while you do Perplexity, my observation is because it is also relying on web data, you have to do your due diligence by yourself. It's a good shortlisting tool. It's a good tool to learn also, but not necessarily a good tool to completely rely on it. Then what I did was a very simple thing which we've been always doing, these kind of prompts. Similar ones I've tried earlier on this particular channel. Stocks with golden crossover during this week, price action positive over last 2 weeks with increasing volume, and peg is less than. Two, check all stocks with market cap above 1,000. And this is the list that it gave Voltas, which is around 1.65. Now, the good thing about consumer durables is also the fact that the GST effect, especially for companies like Voltas, is expected to be positive. So these particular stocks have been in the news, and definitely if it is turning out to be somewhere close to golden crossover, the price action is positive, the volumes are good. From a swing trade perspective, the PE ratios and the PEG ratios are within the valuations that you consider reasonable, you can definitely bet on it. So for me, from this list, both Voltas, which was around 1.65. So any peg which is above one is not considered to be uh, very good, but still reasonable, I would say. So from a valuation perspective, it is looking okay. A price action is good. So Voltas, and from this list for me, Sky Gold is a speculative stock. Adore Welding is something which is decent, but it depends upon whether you understand that business or not. Blue Star is another one from that same space in which we're talking about from a consumer durable. So Voltas, and to a certain extent for me Persistent also, because these are two good stocks to consider. You can check it out. In fact, it is directly giving the screener link itself that they had a golden crossover, and at the same time the stock is reasonably priced. So if you look at it, when the IT was in boom, these stocks had amazing run up. Now you can dip in at this price and see if it works for you. Although the P is fairly high, and if we compare it with its peers, it comes to be fairly high. But you can play around with it on the momentum that it is showing currently, and Persistent is definitely one of the good stocks to bet on. Then Adorweld is another one which is in the space, but I don't understand the space. Pick only the spaces that you understand. Another one that we're talking about is Voltas over here. So in terms of Voltas, it's at 73, so it's a fairly expensive stock. But given where it is trading today, and the overall run-ups that it has had, it might be a good bet, short-term bet. Now, nothing is looking very compelling. That is why I'm coming across as, yeah, take a bet if you want to, because you should take a bet only if you feel confident about it. Personally, I might not take a bet on anything, but the whole objective of giving this exercise is to help you understand that you can leverage this, do a little bit of quick research, and then figure out. I've made some money in the recent past using some of very fundamentally strong stocks like Hindustan Zinc, Hero, Honda Motors, and some of these which fundamentally are good. Even if you sit with it, it's okay, but they were good at trading. So those are some of the stocks I made. Then NLC India. Now, not all of them are appearing in the list, and obviously these were the past videos that we have created. But you can try out these kind of prompts. Now, after that, once I was not very satisfied with this, then I tried this. List all stocks with greater than 5% gain during the week and volumes being positive, bring companies with market cap above 500. This is also a good way to identify multi-baggers. You can take the period and change it from 5% to 2% or 3% during the week, volumes being good, because any stock which becomes a multi-bagger makes it to the list of the trading places also. And that's the time when you have to decide whether it is your investment or trading. Ideally, always play in both ways, but keep the checkpoints in such a manner that you can only exit your trading positions, especially for multi-baggers, because that's how you make money or wealth in the long term. Now over here it brought me some of the stocks, but frankly speaking, at least based upon wherever I felt that the 5% gain is there, I personally didn't find something during the week which can be considered as a good investment. Now CET is looking very good from this list. It made into the list, but it has already done a lot of run up. Whirlpool India is another one that I checked, but it is showing a lot of spikes and valleys because of the fact that the promoter company is feeling that the promoter company itself is feeling that it is highly valued. So that the things which are going on over there. So really speaking, I didn't find very good things over here as bets either, and it gave me things from both large caps, mid caps, and small caps. Finally, I don't think so that I have much to offer for these companies. Like I looked at this Whirlpool, it looked awesome with the peg of 0.63, but the parent company not believing in it in itself is this thing. Then there is South Indian Bank, which already gained 19%, so I don't understand on how to take a position on that. Another one, AU Small Finance Bank, which has been in the run-up from quite some time, and there's no clear peg that has emerged over here right now. So the only thing that came close was again persistent system over here. Indian Bank of Maharashtra is good. I already have positions over there. So these are the stocks. Now I'll also put the link to these queries. Now these are based on the prompts. I just want to talk through on what are the possible options. But if you have to consider the final list based upon all of this research, I would still say explore Bank of Maharashtra, explore persistent system. And if you find anything from these stocks which you want to do your due diligence and make an investment, this would be available as a share in the comment. And we also run a course on Udemy to talk about on how to blend technical signals with fundamental signals and make calculated bets for both trading and investments. That link would be also available in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one. The primary objective being that of this channel being the fact that we could exploring AI for various purposes, and wealth creation is one part of it. And if you are investing in stock market, the only way to make money is there's only one way, that you do your due diligence by yourself, you do your own researches and then invest. The other way to do it is give it to somebody who understands it really well, be it mutual funds or be it a PMS scheme. There's no shortcut, take this, do this. That doesn't land you anywhere. So I'll see you in the next one in which we take you through this, but this is available as prompts. I wish you good luck with your investments and wealth creation. Bye for now.